Tim, normally I'd start by saying welcome to the Oval, but you know this place better than anybody. Is it like coming home whenever you come through the gates here?
Absolutely. You know, I was at a few games at the end of the season as well, and you know, taking my two boys to the game as well, just to watch. So it's it's brilliant to be back. It's fantastic when you sit here. There's so many memories over the. Geez, I don't know how many years now, since 1998. You know, so it was really a no-brainer to come back when I was asked.
I don't know if you saw on social media last night, but we opened up our Instagram stories to ask fans what they wanted to ask you. So I've got some of the questions here. The first one I'm going to ask you, there was a few people asked this: is the big red book coming back with you?
Yes. I always like to have the red folder and the set plays and different things that we work on and we practice on, and you know it's something that we use quite a lot and we need, and especially in match days.
Next question from Kenton. He said, how did you feel when you got the call from Declan and were offered to come back?
I mean, I was surprised, but I was flattered at the same time. I didn't expect to have an opportunity to come back. I feel it just unfinished business here on my part. Can't wait. And when you sit and listen to Dsciঢ় and the way he talks about the club and the DNA, getting an identity back, and that's what we want to aim towards. It's something that I'm excited about. Excited to bring the glory days back to the club and make this club the people of East Belfast are proud of.
You touched on it there. Just you were here obviously at the start of last season. Somebody's asked here, what was the real reason that you left last season?
Listen, different managers have different visions, and different things happen when new managers come in, and obviously at the time it just wasn't going to work between myself and Moran, and I just wished them all the best and moved on. But 9 months, 10 months, 11 months down the line, I'm back here and fingers crossed looking to finish off what we started.
I like this next one because it's from your son, but he said, what's your best moment coaching at Glentoran?
Well, there was probably a couple. Probably the start of the season before last. We went to Windsor and comfortably beat Linfield. I think it was 3-0 or 4-0, and it was just an unbelievable experience. The North Stand was filled, and we put on a really good show that night. And I think I was at the stage where we were unbeaten for the first 15 games of the season, so that was memorable. But probably one of my last matches here was first team coach when we won the European playoff final. Just the elation to bring European football back to the Oval was fantastic.
And then thinking about your playing career, Gavin Anderson asks, if you could relive one moment in your Glentoran career, what would it be?
Probably the winning my first Irish Cup with the Glens. Obviously winning leagues is special. I won the league here on my first year, but the Irish Cup in 2000, it was a fantastic day. Just managed to get down the lane and put a cross in for Big Gulzine, and that was the first time I had the chance to compete sort of the clean sweep of medals.
Davy George has asked, why were you at most of the games after you left?
Well, I'm a fan of the club. I like to come back when I can. All my kids play football, so I'm either watching them or I'm doing stuff where the missus has me doing work around the house. So it just worked out well towards the end of the season just to come back and say bring my kids along and just watch and just bring them to this place and hopefully try and get them a feel for it. My young lad plays for the Glensies in the academy, so as I say, he already has an affiliation with it.
Next one's a hard one. You can thank our physio for this one, but he said, any ideas for new signings that you'd like to see come to the Oval?
Well, for me, it's difficult to bring new signings in. First and foremost, any new signing that you bring in, you want them to get a feel for the club right away. I think Dsciঢ় has in his head, he wants to bring people in that want to play for the jersey. There's a certain type of character, and that they're going to fit into the Glentoran DNA. So for me, that's first and foremost, and that's what I have to do. But there's still a good backbone of a team here. You've a lot of quality players still at this club, and I'm excited about it. As I say, albeit 10 players went, but doesn't necessarily mean you have to bring 10 players in. I just think it needs a few tweaks, and I'd say Dsciঢ় is working very, very hard behind the scenes on that.
Billy Emerson asks, during your playing days, who was the best player you played alongside?
Played a lot of Glentoran legends, Paul Lehman and Con Nixon and Mark Lendenning and Gary Smith and stuff and Scott Young, but Darren Lockhart, my God. But probably the one was when we say Michael O'Neill, you know, the year we nearly did the clean sweep. He was just phenomenal, you know. He just had something special. I think when he first arrived, Roy Coyle had him playing out in left wing. You know, he was just different class. Just had a bit of guile about him, and you could see, you know, the top clubs he played for. He was fantastic.
And the last question, I've thrown a lot at you, but a few people brought this up whenever we were asking them. You've coined a few phrases, Mac Attack being one of them. Another one, you probably know what's coming here, but what was your memory? I think it was live at half-time in a game, and we got that famous quote, "You gotta believe, man."
Do you know what? It just kind of came out. But I think the camera caught me kind of unawares. You know, we were 1-0 down against our biggest rivals, and you know, I felt we were still well in the game. And you know, I think his last question, he was asking me, you know, do you think he can back? And I was, rather than me saying, of course we can, it just kind of came out of me, and I don't know why I said it in an American accent. I just said, well, you gotta believe, man, you know. So I think it was just kind of tongue-in-cheek at the time, but it seems to have really taken off.